Tim Floyd decided to stay at USC, so where does that leave the coaching carousel the day before the Final Four gets going? Hey, how are you folks? Jason Horowitz, glad to be with you here on Destination Detroit, presented by Denny's, brought to you by Denny's new Grand Slam, which everything you love about the Grand Slam, all now in a sandwich. It's news and notes as we bring in our CBSSports.com college basketball columnist Gary Parrish, and we'll do this every single day here. Gary, a big part of the Final Four is coaching moves, where things happen. Tim Floyd kind of put a stop to that by staying at USC. So where does that leave the Arizona situation?
You know, the latest thing is that they're looking at Sean Miller at Xavier. Now, will Sean leave? I don't know, but they're going to put more than $2 million a year on the table, 6 or 7 year contract, and it's one of the jobs that will intrigue Sean. He's had a lot of opportunities to leave, from Virginia to Georgia to dating back over the past 3 years. Hasn't really been interested in any of those because he's got a great job in the A-10, but this is one I think he'll listen to, and if they don't move that direction or they can't move that direction, then you're going to hear it take a big, big dip, and the next name you might hear pop up, Seth Greenberg, Virginia Tech.
And all those guys obviously here in Detroit. Gary, you know, Sean Miller lost to Pittsburgh, and Jamie Dixon, and his name was thrown out there for the USC job if Tim Floyd was leaving. What about Jamie Dixon to Arizona? That's been thrown out there before as well.
If Jamie Dixon wanted the Arizona job, he could have taken it a year ago or whenever. I mean, Jamie has always been one of the top targets for that. Not going to happen. He's comfortable where he's at. He's making good money. He's built a nice thing. He's got great facilities, a great boss. Jamie Dixon's going to stay at Pitt for the time being. And, you know, if he doesn't move for Arizona and some of the other jobs that have popped off in the past couple of years, it seems like he might be set there for a while.
All right, Gary, of course, what started the whole coaching carousel this year is, of course, John Calipari going to Kentucky when Memphis at this point is still open as we're talking here on Friday. But is that about to close?
They're moving quickly. I mean, it looks like right now they're going to turn towards Scott Drew of Baylor. They've obviously wanted to start big. They gauged the interest of Rick Pitino, gauged the interest of Billy Donovan, gauged the interest of Bruce Pearl, of Tim Floyd, of Mike Anderson. They've reached out in a lot of different ways, but now they're going to settle in and they're getting back to reality a little bit, understanding what their job is. It looks like Scott Drew's the direction they're going.
How hard of a job is that right now, Gary? You live in Memphis. You used to cover Memphis. You broke the story about John Calipari. How hard of a job is that for someone to follow someone who just won 30 games in a row, 4 straight seasons?
Well, when people were talking about Tim Floyd, somebody told me, Tim Floyd followed Phil Jackson in Chicago. Why does he want to follow John Calipari in Memphis? It's a career killer is what people are telling me. Now, is it a money grab? It could be. I mean, they got a lot of money with the FedEx people, you know, trying to make sure this stays at a certain level. But you go there, you go 14-2 in your league, win 26 games, go to the NCAA tournament, win a game there, and guess what? What's wrong with the coach? He's not doing what Cal did. It's going to be a tough gig to keep going.
One last thing. Georgia filled its vacancy. They tried to go after Mike Anderson. He stayed at Missouri. They went after the Nevada head coach, and he accepted the job, Coach Fox. What are your thoughts on that opening there and the fact that he left to go to Georgia and the job that he may be able to do in the SEC East?
What Georgia did is what Arizona is going to have to end up doing probably. What Memphis has ended up doing probably is, you know, realize what kind of job you really got and that it's hard to lure a big-name guy from a place where he's already established. Look, the Mark Fox hire, I think, is a great hire given the circumstances. He's not going to be popular in Atlanta right now. He got ripped this morning in Atlanta, but this is an accomplished basketball coach, a guy who is respected in the industry. It's not going to win the press conference, but it might win you some games down the road. I like that hire.
And if you can get a guy like Nick Fazekas, you may win even more games at Georgia. Gary Parrish, thank you very much. We'll see you all throughout the weekend.
Thanks, Jason.
All right, of course, this is Destination Detroit presented by Denny's. More news and notes, and as coaches continue to follow, be sure to follow their path here on CBSSports.com. And again, Destination Detroit presented by Denny's. Bring a friend to Denny's on April 8th from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. and get a free Grand Sandwich when you buy a Grand Slam. For Gary Parrish, I'm Jason Horowitz. We'll see you all throughout the weekend here in Detroit. Take care, folks.